We should wrap because I'm still crying.
Oh my
over
God,
here.
she's still crying.
I am.
What made you cry? Can you just tell us?
I think it's just
Your love for me? That got her to stop crying. See, I know how to kill her cry boner.
Welcome to Bitch Talk. I'm your host, Erin.
And I'm co-host Ange, a.k.a. Captain Party.
And for more than 11 years, the show has celebrated underrepresented voices in pop culture and beyond.
But not in the snore kind of way, which is why our listeners and followers have graciously voted us Best of the Bay, Best Podcast on 48 Hills for 3 years in a row. Repeat, bitches.
If you like what you hear, follow us on Instagram and check out our website, Bitch Talk Podcast, and rate us wherever you listen to podcasts.
We're begging you to judge us. When does that ever happen? Oh, you're not going to say anything?
Oh, what'd I say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, on that note, on with the show. Clink.
Well, hello, Bitch Talkers. We are at South by Southwest 2025. There are really no quiet spaces unless we go home, and we can't go home because otherwise we'll fall asleep.
Our home is too beautiful and relaxing.
Right.
So we found a bar, which is what we do best. And we decided to record because we have a lot of catching up to do. And we know that you've just heard all of our Slam Dance coverage, which I hope you enjoyed. We covered a really wide range of films and a lot of international, like we've been all over the fucking world.
Slam Dance was kind of the most international, I think.
Yeah, well, in terms of our coverage.
Yeah, our coverage.
Our specific coverage and what we ended up getting.
Right.
But yeah, we hope you enjoyed listening to the interviews. We had a lot of fun. I popped into LA for a little bit just to, see the new digs because this was their first year in LA. And yeah, so we're really proud of our Slam Dance coverage. And now here we are at South by Southwest, but we also had a little fucking parlay in between, which was all Erin's idea.
It's my fault.
For being born.
It's my fault for being born. Thanks, Mom and Dad. You timed it great. 48 years ago. I'll just say it. I mean, whatever. That felt weird. Let's cheers.
Let's cheers. We just got our drinks. We're also... Yeah.
Cheers. So basically, I think this time last year, I looked at the calendar because I love New Orleans. If you don't know that, you haven't been listening for 12 years. But I love New Orleans and have never been to Mardi Gras.
And same for me.
And I happened to look at the calendar last year. I'm like, when's Mardi Gras? And it was landing on my birthday this year. And the stars aligned because they do, if you're in tune with them. Friend of the podcast, Carolyn, out of San Francisco, has a house and is living my dream. She has a house in New Orleans, but she grew up in San Francisco, and she's back and forth, and was gracious enough to hold the house for like a whole year for us. And I gathered 8 of my closest, nearest, and dearest. People flew in from Nashville and Altoona, Pennsylvania. If you don't know about that, that's where Luigi was captured a few months ago. Not because of my friends, but just because of their uncle. No, I'm kidding. But he was there.
Kinda.
He was there at the McDonald's.
His
and
friends.
Doesn't matter. That's a side note. But we just made it happen, even though the world is what it is right now. There were moments that my husband, Jeff, and I were like, maybe we're going to cancel this just because of everything in the world and other things. And I'm just glad we didn't, because we needed the joy and we needed the community, I think. And we just wanted, we just wanted to have a good time.
Yeah, it does.
And it was fun.
We don't even need to have any other reason than that. Like, why not? We want to have fun.
Yeah.
And we deserve fun. We work hard. We do things every day and we go through things every day that are difficult. So why not have fun whenever you can? And when all the stars align like this, like we paid next to nothing for a 4-night, 5-night stay, whatever it was, thanks to a dear friend. So when the stars align, you can't say no, because the Lord works in mysterious ways.
Sure.
The God of booze shone his light upon us. Shone her
The
light.
goddess.
Shone her light
Yeah.
upon us.
Yeah.
Anyways, we were a crew of middle-aged ass bitches, and we parlayed like we were in our 30s. So, cheers to us.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't crazy, but we would we would start the day around 8, 9, 10, and just be out all day until like 1 in the morning.
But
every
we should
day.
precursor that we also have friends that live there, aside from the friend who owned our home, and they assured us like there are different ways to do Mardi Gras. It's
Yes.
not all Bourbon Street, nipples out.
But
like,
also
you can
we've already done Bourbon Street a million years ago.
We've been to New Orleans together and separately,
Yes.
and so like I had no need for that. But we just, man, it's just so fun everywhere you go. Every single thing you do during Mardi Gras is fun, and everyone's so friendly and so happy. And there's kids, you know, it's not all.
There's kids, there's dogs, there's
It's just the whole community.
grandmas, there's
Everybody is out
grandpas. Yeah.
and having a good time and celebrating life. And there's nothing that feels this joyous and this kind, really. Like, it was just a really good energy. It wasn't like, you know, spring break, you know what I mean? It wasn't, and it could be that, but
could.
for us it wasn't.
Well,
so.
what we were told way before we went, basically this time last year, was like, you can choose what kind of Mardi Gras you want. And just know Mardi Gras is just not one day. It's the last day of basically a month and a half, almost 2 months of a season in New Orleans. So if you go to New Orleans during Mardi Gras season, there are parades every day. We had a parade tracker that you can download. There's several. We had alerts that we signed up for just in case you wanted to know. And there's something for everyone during Mardi Gras.
And we have to give a shout out to friends of the show, the Ross brothers, who we've had on a
million
few times. We were in
They're family at this point.
We were in their latest film.
Yep.
And
Gasoline Rainbow.
we capped off our Mardi Gras at one of their apartments, and his balcony overlooks the French Quarter. So it
was a little ridiculous.
It was
It's a little
ridiculous.
and at that party, there were kids and adults and parents. Like
Yeah.
the parents of the Ross brothers.
There
the
were
mom,
there
the
were
mom there.
generations of
It was
people.
a generational party.
An endless supply of booze and good people and a fun time. So it was just, I hadn't been there since my last time in New Orleans was with Erin 9 years ago, which is wild. So
Yes.
I really needed my fix, and it did not disappoint. So, I mean, I can't wait to go back. We're going back next year, and we're going to, tell them what you were saying. We're taking notes this time.
Well, this was like the homework trip. I didn't realize. I should have realized, but I didn't realize till we got there. The costume game of the people that live in New Orleans is next level. A couple of our friends compared it to in San Francisco Beta Breakers. People do show up, dress out. To like my husband who's sitting here right now doing probably Wordle or some kind of game. And then Ange has, he's laughing. But you guys have dressed up and done like group costuming.
No, costumes
or
is my
themes,
thing.
Or themes, right?
Yes, costumes are my thing.
So there are different crews around New Orleans, KREWE, that have themes. And, but again, the costumes are just like next level. And I think that it was like, okay, now we know for next time. Like you really, if you want a wig, just don't buy a wig. Like you have to like put shit in the wig. You have to like fluff up the wig. You gotta have sparkles in the wig. It has to be like drag. It has to be drag level.
Drag quality.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't have to, but that's just what you're surrounded with.
And it's creative as fuck.
Yeah.
Like
so
if you think
really
you're creative,
really witty.
if you think you're creative, you're not. Go to New Orleans and you'll be like, oh, okay. Yeah, I get it.
But I will say another reason why, because I love costumes and I would love to I love making costumes. But we were following this trip to New Orleans with the immediate trip to South by Southwest to
Yes.
record 10 plus interviews and red carpets. And so there was equipment. We had to bring all of the equipment, tripod, microphones. So it's like I don't have room for costumes. My suitcase was 60 pounds, and there's a 50-pound weight limit. So even with just my bare minimum, I was already 10 pounds over. So next time, hopefully, we can figure out some kind of balance, because costumes are fucking heavy. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes we make costumes out of cardboard or whatever, and there's just no space for that. So we have to be real smart about our costumes because they need to be compact as well. So the wheels are spinning. We got a year.
Yeah.
But damn, that was a fix. You want to give some highlights of like favorite bars and restaurants?
Here's what I'll say. I think traveling with the right group of people is key. Like, if you ever want to plan a group trip, you gotta pick the people who are nearest and dearest and also, like, can roll with things. And I'm really, really grateful that all of our friends can roll and are cool with it, even though I was a little bit stressed out about it. But I think that was really the highlight of the trip, was just people were there to have a good time and to really hang and laugh and listen to music and be there, and that's what New Orleans is. So that was my biggest highlight. And yeah, the biggest highlight for me was just the laughter, really. Like, just the nonstop laughs, the nonstop, like, I could see, like, little side conversations or people, like, joking the entire time about certain things. But the Crew of Red Beans parade was the best, and it's kind of, we were part of like maybe 1.5, 2 parades, but again, like the creativity and the music, it's so good.
Like, you can just sit and people watch in one location, and that's a day well spent during Mardi Gras. It really, like, you don't even have to do much else. So yeah,
I was actually, the thing that was a constant theme throughout was that we would show up places and we would ask, like, oh, how long have you worked here? And they're like, oh, we don't work here. Like, I'm covering for this person that's over on the other side of the bar, and I might be here till 6 a.m, but I don't work here. I'm just jumping in.
I live across the street, and
Yes.
they asked me to jump in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
nobody's working, even the people that are working.
There's people
They're
working,
just
but they're
as drunk
not
as
working.
us, or hungover.
Yeah. I also think just like our walks with our groups of friends was fun, and
Oh yeah.
just, I don't know.
Well, because the architecture, fuck.
Well, always.
It's not even just people watching; it's house watching.
Oh, every
Well, house walking.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's my favorite thing. I'm like, oh, and color combinations too.
The
Always in New
colors,
Orleans.
correct.
They got it on. Do kids say on fleek anymore? Probably not.
Oh my God, no.
Like 5 years ago.
But I say on point, and that's
Oh,
older
on
than
point.
on fleek.
The color palettes are on. Oh, and then just meeting random strangers that invited us. Go ahead. You should tell that story. Inviting us to their backyard.
Well, okay, so
A little bit.
there was
Your new
a
future
friend. Well,
ex-wives.
there was a future friend across the street, and they asked us something. I feel like.
No. They were.
Did I ask for a room for rent first?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So they mentioned that they lived there.
This was in the Bywater, which we learned is a gentrified name. Basically, if what happens in San Francisco gets named by real estate people. So this was the Upper Ninth Ward we were in.
We're looking
Bywater's
at you,
Upper
the
Ninth Ward.
fucking
Yeah.
East Cut. That is not a thing.
Right. So anyways, Upper Ninth Ward / Bywater. We were walking there. It was Mardi Gras. No, it wasn't.
No, it was the day
Monday.
before.
Yeah.
So our future friend was across the street, and I don't know why I asked her now, but I was like, do you have a room for rent? Or they were saying, like, are you having a nice day? And I was like, I want to live here. Do you know anyone with a room for rent? And they mentioned that they had a house, and then just offered to show it to us and let us use the restroom if we wanted, which, yes, we are middle-aged women. We always need the restroom. So we took them up on their offer, and it was this magical garden, huge, humongous garden. Were there fountains? I don't know, gnomes, statues, greenery, flowers, a hot tub, and their outhouse was a real toilet that flushed. It wasn't even like an outhouse. So I was just like, where do I sign the lease?
Yeah.
I'm ready. And then her partner came out and was even more just this stunning siren. And I was just like, okay, well, when am I moving in? And then she was like, are you talking about a thruple? I was not talking about a thruple at all, for the record.
Sure. She wasn't,
and
actually.
I was just like, well, I'm open to, options. Like, is that the only option? And then she gave me a necklace, a personal necklace or whatever. And I was like, okay, well, TBD. So, you want to say something?
Just that I don't know. We were walking, and I heard someone on the phone. I can't remember what she said. Something that caught my ear, and we made eye contact, and then that's how we ended up at Cam's
house.
Oh, so you started.
Yes.
I'll give your trophies in my bag over here, so I'll give that to you after this.
Okay, well, lock eyes with more people more often, I guess, because, now I need a home in Austin, so get on it. So anyways, any whoozy whatsy, that was fun. But also, we just met a lot of really cool fucking people that we'll never see again, but we had beautiful moments with.
Or we might next time we go back.
Or we might, but it doesn't matter. That's the thing. Like,
I will say the most favorite thing I put in my mouth during that trip was the stuffed seafood oyster at Elizabeth's.
Oh, yes.
Probably the most, everything's always delicious in New Orleans, but I won't forget that. And now when I go back, I'll be like, do you have this? I will wait for it. It was delicious.
And then we're also going to give you a warning that the day after Mardi Gras, people aren't quite as friendly as they're hungover.
Yeah, if you're
tired.
there, just also know a lot of things are closed because, again, it's been a month and a half of just kind of celebrations. So check those websites, check their social media, even call. I called before we went down about stuff.
And people were like, if they were working, they were all hungover and tired and not having it.
That wasn't even the day after. It was 2 days later when we went to Elizabeth's.
I was talking about just people at the bars the day after Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I would have one other highlight, and because I'm mentioning this because we weren't going to do it, Preservation Hall.
Yes, obviously.
That was so special, and, my husband and I were like, we did it last time, and it was great. It's a great place to go, but also you can see a lot of music everywhere in New Orleans, and then our friend hadn't gone yet, and so it was the day after Mardi Gras. We checked in at breakfast, and she was like, what do you guys think? There's still tickets. And we all ended up going, and it was really special. And we ended up buying too many things.
We bought jackets, sweaters.
Ange and I have matching jackets.
If people didn't mistake us for a couple or
really
before, now we have matching jackets, and they look like we could be a softball team. So you're welcome.
We're part of the softball team.
You're welcome. Scissor Sisters.
Thank you to my husband for buying me
team.
that for my birthday. Thank you.
San Francisco Scissor Sisters. That's the name of our team. Anyways, we don't scissor. But so Preservation Hall, and it's very special. There's no other experience like it. The next day we fucking drove to Austin. Well, I didn't. I slept and I DJ'd. But it was a 10-hour drive. And that's kind of not
basically.
That's not really what you want the next day.
I mean, I don't think the timing, this won't ever happen again. I guess in 7 years, maybe, I guess. But I'm going to be old then. I'll be older.
I don't think we need to drive to Austin after Mardi Gras again. We did it.
We
survived.
Nearly didn't survive.
It was ambitious, that's all.
Yes, and I mean, it was known that I can't drive after Mardi Gras. It was known. Thank you. If you guys want to do it, I will chip in and I will pay for whatever, but I'm not capable. But both of you, Erin and her husband, got us there. Tag teaming as fuck.
It's not even the physical aspect of it. It's the scenery. I don't have anything against the bayou and the swamp, but it's bayou and swamp, and then it's Houston, which means fucking refineries.
Yeah.
And Jesus, it's just not really good driving.
I would say though, yes, ambitious, but I'm glad I got to do that drive. I've never done it, and it's America and it's interesting. That's all I'll say. We got food that we would have never had.
Cracklins, what is it called? Boudin and cracklins, which
Boudin.
I'm still not sure what that is. It's a ball.
It's just the boudin is like what Jeff said. It's like an arancini. It's like a fried rice ball.
Yeah,
Not fried rice like Chinese fried rice.
with cheese
And peppers. Yours is
and
spicy.
peppers, and then you eat it with the cracklin, which were fucking bomb. The
Cracklin is just
cracklins were
like
bomb.
pork fucking skin.
Chicharron, but it
Yes,
was
chicharron.
but it was like really small chopped pieces. Anyways, so that was good. And we made it to Austin to a great friend's home that they've opened to us before.
I will never be able to repay them for their
Yes.
generosity in our lives.
Filmmakers that we
Yeah.
love.
Producer, filmmaker couple.
And so, yeah, we just have so much love that has been given to us from across the country.
yeah, I just,
you
at the end of the
can't
day,
tell.
it's going to take a while to process all the things. And
This entire trip.
I still can't believe we just did it and it happened. And thank God no one hurt themselves.
We
also.
were mostly worried about our ankles and our knees because there's not the streets are
Again,
very pothole.
New Orleans, you are not ADA
Accessible.
compliant or just compliant.
Like crumbling ass streets, sidewalks, dips, potholes, manholes.
Well,
dick
also
holes.
the other thing, and I can ramble on forever and I won't. The other thing was there were storm warnings the day of Mardi Gras / my birthday, okay? One person was very on top of it. I've known her since 4th grade. And so we were on alert, but I was also like, we're here and we just have to do the things and we'll be able to run for cover somewhere. Like they had to cancel parades or they moved up parades by hours. Like parades, you guys, start at 5 a.m. Just FYI, on normal.
Erin and I were like,
Ambitious
we're
again.
going to do it.
Then we didn't.
And we didn't. But we didn't even talk about what our costumes were.
Oh, right.
But like lightweight costumes because we had like 1 week to prepare. So
Well, and I thought of it last minute, but I'll finish with the weather thing. Was that it was nothing. It was a lot of wind for like an hour maybe, and then it ended up just being like a 10 to 15 minute hard rain shower. That's it.
And also, New Orleans folks know how to handle any adversity, especially weather.
They really do.
They're
and
just
also
like,
they're like, whatever.
Boom.
nobody was tripping on it. Like it wasn't even a thing. Nobody was even.
You also just run into a bar. Like that's what happens. You just go to a bar because they're all open.
And also, like, everybody's in costume. If you get wet, like, so what? You know what I mean? It's not the fucking Met Gala.
No.
Yeah, it's not precious. That's what I'm trying to say.
It's not. New Orleans is never precious.
Yeah.
And they will roll with
It's
it.
down home as fuck.
They got through Katrina, so they're like, oh, a severe wind. And I'm not saying that lightly, but there's going to be wind and rain. Okay. Like, whatever. We've been through worse.
Another thing that this is the first time it's happened to me since I've been traveling. Not one person, when we told them we were from San Francisco, was like, oh my God, are you okay? I heard it's bad there. Not one fucking person. Everybody, when we told them they were from San Francisco, they were like, that's my favorite city. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what? This is our favorite
Psychic
city. What are you talking about?
seaports.
But I'm telling you, in my experience, at least since the pandemic, every time I travel somewhere domestic or internationally and I say I'm from San Francisco, at least one time they're like, oh God, how do you handle it? But it never happened in New Orleans. And that's like, that tells you everything you need to know.
It really is. It's my favorite place. Something's in the air there. Mm-hmm. I love it.
We need to give a shout out to the bookstore. The Baldwin bookstore that we went to. That's named after James Baldwin. And our friend introduced it as
Carolyn.
It's Oakland as fuck.
Also, they have a podcast studio. Can we open one in
They
the
have
Bay?
a podcast
Thank
studio.
you.
They have a bomb-ass cafe
Yes.
that has coffee drinks that you've never thought of. Like, I got a lavender lemonade with a shot of espresso in it, and it was fucking delicious. But they also have this thing called Blind Date with a Book. And it's books that are covered, they're wrapped, And there's a brief description of the book and a price, but you have no idea what the book is or who the author is. And I love this concept. It's really cool. But it's just really a really smart, thoughtful bookshop, cafe, workspace, and we have to give them some love. And it definitely is. It's Oakland as fuck.
I'm giving it its correct name. It's Baldwin and Company, and it's special. When you go to New Orleans, seriously, take a car, go over there, peruse the books, have a coffee, look at the podcast studio, which I would love to be in every day.
Oh my God. Yeah, we were drooling. Like, imagine. Another thing that I will say about Mardi Gras, in our experience, and we were not on Bourbon Street, is the locals are not mad that we're traveling there to party with them. As San Franciscans, we get very grumpy when our shit's crowded and like, well, this bar on Monday's better than Friday. I say that all the time. But we were welcomed with open arms, and maybe it's also because we're not fucking douchebags, but I appreciate that. And they could very well be very annoyed at us non-locals, but they're not. We just were very received with love, and so thank you. And now here we are.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to add
No.
because I don't want to keep going on. It's just special, and I wish we were still there. But I'm gonna carry.
Oh, she's crying. You didn't cry yet today, surprisingly. So she's crying, and while she is, I'm just going to talk about South by Southwest because we have some really exciting interviews coming up for your ass. We have an interview that is nothing you've heard before.
Oh.
1 million.
Also on the verge of
kabillion
tears a
percent.
little bit during that.
Oh my God, yes. We'll just say it's a story that's local as fuck, but it's an interview that we've never had can we even call it an interview? It was like a molding of the souls.
It was live podcasting cinema.
Correct. and a concert as well, if you call that a concert, because now Erin and I are fighting over what a concert is. Any live, if you go to see live music, that's a concert.
I don't
or is
think
that just
so.
a show?
I think that's
show?
just a show.
All right, well, I'll show you something
If you want to
later.
write into the real BT pod at
I'll give you a show.
or DM us at Instagram. What defines a concert?
Okay, I don't know. And what about a concerto? Anyways, that's probably more easily to define. So we have some really awesome interviews coming up. We had a little excitement on a red carpet the other day. And yeah, so we're here in Austin, which is another city that we have so much love for. Fuck Greg Abbott.
Oh,
but
always.
other than that, you
Fuck
know,
him.
we're having a great time and we're eating the fuck out of the breakfast tacos.
Yeah, well, here's the thing I just said earlier to a friend of ours. If you have an open carry gun law in Texas, whatever, but why can't you have an open carry alcohol law? Why can't we carry booze on the street like in New Orleans? Sorry. If you're going to be free, quote unquote, why can't we do that? Question to you, Greg Abbott, DI hire.
Yeah, freedom of booze.
All right. Well, anyways, we should wrap because I'm still crying.
Oh my
over
God,
here.
she's still crying.
I
But
am.
What made you cry? Can you just tell us
I think it's just
your love for me? That got her to stop crying.
no.
See, I
yes.
know how to kill her
No.
cry boner.
I think the crying is from thinking about the trip and how special it was.
When we were in New Orleans, we did manage to watch the Oscars right quick, and our friend came up with the best pun/name because Dune Part 2 was winning all these awards, and I have to give a shout out to you, Steven.
Nominated, and they won a couple.
And they won whatever the fuck. It doesn't matter. But he, out of nowhere, in his like drunken 1 a.m.
Oh,
New Orleans
What? Yeah.
lack of
Drinking all day.
he said Gerard Dunpatu. So now this is the most brilliant. Well, let's name a dog. Like get a dog and name it that or something. Gerard Dunpatu. So.
All right.
I mean, maybe the listeners don't think that's
No.
special, but I think it's special.
We are cracked out, and we
brains
still have
are
one
mush.
more full day of South by. And we just came off of Mardi Gras in New Orleans, so I'm going to end this. Thanks to everyone for listening. Thanks for everyone who supported our South by Southwest Quick and Dirty fundraiser. I didn't want to do it, but I did it. There's so much going on in the world. It's just, I get it. It's rough out there for a playa. But thank you to everyone who donated. It covered a lot of food, a lot of rides.
Gas.
A lot of Jeff's gas.
Nobody has enough money for your husband's gas. Nobody has enough
I
money
know,
for that.
gas and, a little bit of drinking that we need in this world. But thank you for helping to sustain us for a bit while we're here. And
it still blows me away that people do that.
I know. Thank you.
You're so... I don't have words.
Yeah.
That would make me cry.
But thank you. And you're going to get a lot of South by Southwest now. So enjoy.
Gerard Dunpato.
Thanks for joining us on today's show. You can find more information about this episode in our show notes.
If you're missing us, you can visit us at bitchtalkpodcast.com to sign up for our newsletter and buy us a cup of coffee.
Did you know we're also on the radio? You can find us at bff.fm.
And lastly, rate and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. All the cool bitches are doing it.
This podcast is a proud member of the BFF.FM podcast network. Learn more at podcasts.bff.fm.
BFF.FM, best frequencies forever.